Hello. On behalf of the American Veterinary Medical Association and its more than 108,000 members, I'm so happy to be here in Sacramento and to join you for the Therio conference. My name is Jennifer Quammen. I am a practicing veterinarian based in Kentucky, and I use the pronouns she, her. I want to thank Dr. Candace Lyman as she's concluding her service as president of SFT and wish all the incoming officers a continued year of success. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Sarah Eaton and especially thank her for the representation of ACT on the Veterinary Specialty Organizations Committee. Dr. Eaton has contributed to the policies on veterinary internships, in particular those around ambulatory and large animal internships. If you're not aware about the role that the Theriogenology group has in the AVMA governance perspective, I might share with you just a little bit about that. So the AVMA House of Delegates is made of 70 member organizations, and those include our 50 state organizations as well as Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia, and then 18 organizations in what we call the Allied Caucus. The Theriogenologists are one of those allied member groups, and I find that your voice is really very important to have there. And when in particular it comes to AVMA setting policy and thinking about the long-term vision, it's really important to have specialists like you with a seat at the table. So I thank you for the contributions that you've had. My participation in the Therio conference is actually my first official capacity as representing AVMA as President Elect. Election was just over a week ago. And in particular, it's very special for me to be here because your delegate from SFT, Dr. Isaac Bott, is actually the delegate who gave my nomination speech. The delegates have up to 5 minutes to give a nomination speech for someone, and Isaac actually stood up and gave a 4-minute poem on my behalf. That is certainly available, and I'm happy to share with you how to find it. I've uploaded it on YouTube, and I've mostly been able to watch it without being teary throughout it now. And so finally, I want to thank you for the invitation to share and see the work that you do, participate in a really cool conference that you have going on. In terms of individual areas of update, I think one place I would like to share about is in specialty shortages. And so you may know that the AVMA Board of Directors approved a recommendation for the veterinary, from the Veterinary Specialty Organization Committee, so the VOSC, to convene a task force and specifically identify and try to alleviate the shortage of specialists, particularly in academia. And this, of course, is of growing concern to us right now because we have a number of veterinary programs that are expanding in size and a number of new veterinary schools that are in the sort of queue to become full schools. So planning for this task force is intended over the next 6 months to a year, and if you are interested in participating in that, please let myself know, or you can reach through Dr. Bott or others into the AVMA channels. The AVMA also revised a statement recently on responsible and judicious use of antimicrobials. So this joint statement, and this is among the AVMA, the FVE, and the Canadian VMA, was originally created in 2011, revised in 2020, and then every 5 years, all AVMA policies go under an internal review. And as part of this, a working group was convened with the Committee on Antimicrobials, and ultimately there were representatives from the Canadian VMA and the FVE, and quite a truly collaborative, multinational, global group that actually put forth this statement that we've stood behind. And so this joint group met multiple times. They made a lot of revisions to this policy, and ultimately the intent is to have this out there for policymakers, regulatory agencies, and for the animal health industry as a whole. Moving into HPAI, there is a lot of developments that are constantly in motion right now around high pathogenic avian influenza. And the CDC has ended its emergency response, but we are still seeing surveillance efforts that have to remain vigilant. And a lot of this can be found, and updates are always available through the AVMA website. We do our best to provide up-to-date, moment-to-moment changes, and the most accurate place you're going to find that is avma.org/avian-influenza. The last big topic I want to bring up is that of New World screwworm. And so you're probably aware that on July 9th, the USDA announced that Mexico's National Service of Agro Safety and Quality reported a new case of screwworm about 160 miles north of the current sterile fly facility. This is actually about 370 miles south of the US-Mexico border, and this new northward detection comes nearly 2 months after more northern detections in Oaxaca and Veracruz as well. And so this newly reported case of New World screwworm means a cancellation of the reopening of the ports that were happening. And so there has been sort of on again, off again opening of the border. And I just want to make sure that you're aware AVMA continues to monitor and be at the forefront of these conversations. Again, if you want to know more about this, you can go to avma.org. And in conclusions, the things I want to say with you is that AVMA continues to be committed to sharing information, exploring ideas, and finding ways that we can work together to advance medicine, protect the health of animals and of humans, and deliver quality services for our clients and support public health. If any of you are in Dean Givens' plenary session on Friday, I would like you to step back and consider the conversation that he gave about relational and transactional experiences. And in particular, I want you to think about that in your relationship to organizations like SFT, AVMA, and other veterinary organizations you might be involved in. I invite you to have a transactional and a relational experience with these organizations. Members matter. Feedback is really important, and I stand prepared as your new AVMA President Elect to continue to serve on behalf of this profession. Thank you again for inviting me to be here. I look forward to feedback from you. I will take any thoughts that you might have and bring them back to the board of directors and the staff as appropriate. And I'm really looking forward to the continued work that we have in the coming years. So with that, I will wish you a great rest of your conference, and thank you again so much for having me here.